Cheers.
Cheers. Not the store, but the end of.
Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome back to the 4th episode of the Guide to Tertiary Life. Charlene and Ron, we are SG Troller and Mental Health CEO respectively.
Email.
You know in primary school when we learn
Right.
all those letter writing, super important
It's honestly more useful than I had ever expected in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My primary school teachers walked so that I could run.
Yeah,
now, as you move up the ladder of education, you need to use email more and more.
Agree.
Because it's the main mode of
formal communication.
Yeah. How do we navigate that? Disclaimer: all our opinions and advice are ours alone. We are not professionals. We are not affiliated to any organization. When you write email, right, there's always the introduction,
Correct.
the body, and the sign off. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the introduction first. You either have the option to use dear or hi. And whether you use which one, right, it actually depends on how
close you are to
Correct.
your professor. Let's say it's the first time I'm taking this professor's model and I have questions. I will start my email off with dear.
Correct.
But let's say I took maybe 1 or 2 and he knows my name, I will start with a hi.
Why you assume the professor is a guy?
Oh, it can be a lady also.
When you're talking with your classmates, right, or groupmates, usually it's more of a hi kind of situation.
In the hierarchy of social status, right? You and your friends are together. Your profs are here, so you use dear for them. You know you made it in life when people write to you and say dear.
Oh, you made a lot of sense, honestly. Hey, but not to put down any hi, okay?
Yeah.
Hi is fine.
So moving on to the body of text, this is where the meat of the email comes in. You usually want to be straight to the point and precise lah. So a usual format that we follow is that we will start with dear blank. Wish them good health. My name is. Then the third one, you state your purpose.
It's an idiot-proof way of writing emails.
Yeah, it's a template lah.
Don't beat around the bush. That being said, you should also maintain the necessary niceties.
For sign off,
You should always have a sign off. What sign off should you use? That's actually a very
political.
Correct.
Yeah.
Political. There's a lot of politics, a lot of power play involved in this.
Yeah.
We bring you through the easiest one. Regards.
Regard standard.
And not just regards, but best regards, right? Or you can also use a warmest regards. It's quite a safe kind of option to do so. On the other hand, when you take out the best or the warmest regards,
and just say regards.
Regards, right? It's you're taking out the warmth, right?
It's a bit standoff-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe the person piss you off a bit. Then you can say regards.
Regards. Yeah. So you do that, but keep in mind the consequences of that.
Your actions.
What about yours, sincerely? What do you think about it?
Yours sincerely is extremely formal. We learn it in our
Letter writing.
in primary school. When you legit need to write to an official person.
If you're writing to the president, I will use yours sincerely. You will also use yours sincerely because you know the name of the person. However, if I did not know the name of the person, I will use
yours faithfully.
The situation is the same, the context is the same, the level of formality is the same, just that do not know the name of the person.
Yeah, for example, maybe you lost a package at Shopee or something, then they have a generic email. So you can start your email with Dear Shopee team. Then you end with yours faithfully. Lastly, my favorite. Cheers.
Not the store, but the end of.
Yeah.
Cheers, right? It's actually it's very informal and cheery and personally, I will use it if I want to make friends with the person. How do you feel about email as a mode of communication?
Okay, personally, right, I feel email, right, is unnecessarily anxiety-inducing. Why is it so legit for no reason at all?
Agree. For me, actually, it kind of feels pretty good. As someone who has navigated these kinds of social situations before, I had to consider myself I quite expert Our advice for it is really quite simple is that the good rule of thumb is to follow the vibe of the person that you are communicating with, especially if it's a prof or lecturer.
Usually I don't initiate the change. Usually I follow the pace of the person. So example, if the person stops using an intro or the person stops using sign off, then I will follow suit lor. Also, you have to have EQ when you write email. Let's say if you are not very close to the person, don't talk too casually. Use the right mannerisms to address them and sign off.
Actually, I think that's really the hardest part of it of determining the level of closeness.
This is a science. Okay? It's a science.
It's both an arts and a science.
Yeah, it's both an arts and science.
Thank you for watching episode 4 of A Guide to Tertiary Life by Charlene and Ron, which is a collaboration between Vitsi and us and it's part of the Canvas series.
Yeah. See you in the next episode where we teach you more about our own methods for self-care.